between your composite toxic role model and your composite nourishing role model. A 1 on a scale means you see yourself as just as toxic as your toxic role model. A 10 means you see yourself as just as nourishing as your nourishing role model. Step 5. Once you've figured out your TN scores, start moving from a self-assessment focus to self-development. Consider some of these questions. Which, if any, of the 5 key SI skill dimensions seems to stand out as a particular area of strength for you? Do one or more of the dimensions present a developmental need or opportunity for you? How much would you need to shift your behavior in each of the 5 skill dimensions to closely approach your nourishing role model? Do you actually want to make any changes? Do you see a need or an opportunity for change? Do you believe that shifting your habitual patterns further toward the nourishing end of the spectrum would bring positive benefits for your life, your relationships, or your career? What if your scores on some or all of the 5 SI skill dimensions fall in the middle of the scale, not good and not bad? How do you interpret such a result? Does a midpoint score say you have nothing to worry about, or do you hold yourself to a higher standard? Does this self-review appeal to your sense of achievement? Bear in mind that changing habitual behaviors requires time, attention, and diligence, so before you launch yourself on a total social makeover, you might want to select a few key areas to start with. You will have an opportunity to identify priorities for improvement later. For now, you might want to jot down your preliminary thoughts. Self-awareness, seeing yourself as others see you. Having assessed your social skills in terms of specific behaviors and their effectiveness, you might like to go a step further and try to test the accuracy of your self-perceptions. You may have friends, acquaintances, co-workers, or colleagues who will give you feedback about how they perceive you. If so, you may get some very valuable insights and suggestions. Don't be surprised, however, to find most of the people you know reluctant to provide candid observations, and to find yourself reluctant or apprehensive about asking them. Personal feedback can serve a very valuable purpose, if you can get it, and if you can take it. If you don't have an adequate supply of helpful feedback from others, or if you don't feel quite ready to solicit it, you can take the intermediate step of speculating about how they perceive you. One simple method for this uses simple adjective descriptions. Do you think people who know you well would describe you as articulate, cooperative, considerate, rude, insensitive, bossy, talkative, caring, ethical? The adjective pairs exercise gives you an opportunity to guess how others see you. Whether or not you go further and solicit their feedback and compare their perceptions of you with your perceptions of their perceptions, you may still find this a helpful step in your personal examination. As with all self-assessments, the value of the results will depend on your personal honesty. You can easily delude yourself with these kinds of evaluations if you like. To begin to make sense of your results, reflect on these questions. Do your answers tell a story? Have you succumbed to the temptation to make yourself look good? Do certain adjectives cluster together to indicate a pattern? Do your highest-rated adjectives seem to indicate a particular dimension of strength? Do certain adjectives appeal to you as aspects of your interactions you'd like to develop, even if you may not have scored them low? As a self-development exercise, you might like to pick out 1 or 2 of these adjective dimensions for special attention. For example, suppose you rated yourself more long-winded than concise, related to the clarity dimension of SI. You might choose to experiment with it over the next few days or weeks to see whether it offers particular promise for improving your interactions with the kinds of people and situations you typically encounter. Assessing your interaction style. Drivers, energizers, diplomats, and loners. Once you've assessed your skills on the 5 SPACE dimensions and considered the ways you believe others